There we go. Harley Barletta and Jared Heasley will be on the front row. Kellen Michener and Jason Rome on the second row. Thomas Myers, Brian Oshinska on the third row. AJ Godsey and Richie West on the fourth row. Bill Percy, Scotty Too Hottie rounding out the top 10. 11th is Mike Smith and David Garman is 12th. 13th is Brandon Springer. Greg McDaniel is 14th. Nicole, that's what she said, Creasel is 15th. Jody Ogden, 16th. Fat Thor, a.k.a. Topher Baltimore, 17th. 18th is Eric Stoy and Larry Ashby starting tail end of the field here tonight. And let's see if we can hop in the cockpit of Topher Baltimore. There you go. You can see the back bumper on Nicole's car. Shout out to Richie West for getting that awesome paint scheme done. And a lot of these paint schemes done by guys like Richie West, like Scott Snodgrass, like Eric Stoy and Mike Smith. Those are the guys in BRR that get the paint jobs done for everybody. And of course, Becky in here cheering for Scotty Too Hottie. I knew she'd show up eventually. Looking through the field at everybody, there is your top 10 as they stack up. They will go green this time by, so now the question becomes not if, but when the big one hits. There is Larry Ashby in the 34 STP, the old school Richard Petty style paint scheme. Zach Bache is saying Garmy for the win here. We'll have to wait and see. They will have to make at least one pit stop here for fuel. Possibly two. We'll have to wait and see. Tires not going to be an issue, although we did see in the truck race and talking to the drivers before the Cup race, the new tire model is really planted and really good in the turns, but on the straightaways, you just feel like you're floating over the track. Not as much grip as you're used to. It's kind of the exact opposite of the last tire model, making things very interesting for a couple of these, or for a lot of these drivers. It came into play last night that that new tire model made things a bit interesting. We'll see how it plays out here tonight. Pace car is in. Green flag in the air. They are down and away. Harley Barletta leads them down. It'll take a lap and a half to get these cars up to full speed as Jason Rome slots into that bottom line really quickly. Expect to see a little bit of single file racing here early on, but after that pit stop, I don't expect to see them stay in single file for long. Patience will be the key the first half, and working the draft will be the real big key. Meanwhile, Larry Ashby and Topher Baltimore off the back, as is Nicole Creasel. Looks like they had a rough start, so they're going to hope for an early caution to get back up with the pack. The way these guys are running, it might be a bit, but they'll get there. A lot of bobbing and weaving down through the corners as they come out on the straightaways. Out of turn 4 is where we've noticed the most problems with this tire as it goes from that 34 degrees of banking down to 13 degrees through the tri-oval, and that flat part is only 5 degrees. That's where things get really, really sketchy. Up front right now is still Harley Barletta in the lead, Kellen Michener in second. Jason Rome in third, Thomas Myers is in fourth. Fifth place is AJ Godsey. Bill Percy in sixth, Scotty Too Hottie in seventh. Bill looking for a comeback here tonight after a rough race last night. He had technical issues, couldn't get into the race in a timely manner, and had to start a couple laps down. Fought his way back to the lead, but got wrecked out on the way. And definitely a difficult night. So Bill Percy hoping for some redemption here tonight. Everybody getting single file all the way back through 10th place, Mike Smith now. Brandon Springer in 11th. Eric Stoy 12th. Greg McDaniel in 13th. David Garman looks like he is dropping back behind Jody Ogden for the moment. He's just going to slot into line. This lead pack, single file, 16 cars long. Then you've got 2 cars together, back behind Nicole Kriesel further back than that. Really surprised to see Nicole Kriesel that far back early on. Looked like Eric Stoy jumped out of line and lost a bunch of positions. Looks like he is dropping to the back, probably a safety move. Scott Snodgrass, meanwhile, taking every opportunity. He is now up into 7th. Him and Bill Percy, the 2 biggest movers of the night so far. AJ Godsey jumping to the high side. Is he looking for help here on the back straightaway? They're looking. Here comes Scott with a head of steam. And AJ trying to take advantage of it, get a little help, and make that high side work. You heard Jared say in the pre-race he did expect that it's going to take several cars up on the high side to make any kind of move work. And you see Bill Percy's got very little draft help, just got Jared Heasley behind him, and they are actually pulling past AJ. So these guys definitely trying the draft out early, seeing what they can do. And the front pack actually starting to break away a little bit. Bill Percy is at the back of a 5-car breakaway led by Harley Barletta. Meanwhile, Jared Heasley and AJ Godsey still side by side, hoping to stay with that lead pack, but that side by side definitely slowing these guys down. James Harris cheering on Fat Thor here tonight. And actually, interesting side note to that one, they're actually gaining just a little bit of ground. Him and Larry are. They're about 3.8 seconds back, but they gain a little ground every turn. They lose it again in the straightaways, but I would imagine that when these guys get more too wide up there, they get a little bit better hooked up. They might actually be able to make their way up to the front. Up front still, Harley Barletta, last season's champion. Kellen Mitchner couldn't be in the playoffs last season due to taking care of his family obligations, so he is looking for a championship here now. And of course, Jason Rome. We had an entire race based on Jason Rome, the Game of Romes. And what an exciting night it was. And what we didn't know in the background is that he had actually spent the better part of a week practicing his restart so he wouldn't spin out on a restart like he had several times earlier in the season. And we didn't get to see Jason Rome do Jason Rome things. He's been practicing during the off season, and definitely one to watch this season. Expect to see him make his way up the points all season long. He was in contention most of the last regular season. This front pack is now 13 cars deep with Greg McDaniel at the back. Eric Stoy and David Garman have now fallen off the back. Jody Ogden is with them. They have a little bit of a gap over Larry Ashby and Fat Thor for the moment. But it seems like when these guys are pulling out into the outside lane, it takes more cars than you're trying to pass to make the pass here. Now the tires are great in the turns here, but a little bit squirrely on the straightaways, as they are with the truck now. That does make things a little bit different, a little bit harder to deal with on the straightaway. You see a lot more movement than we're used to seeing for straightaways. Jared Heasley continuing to stay right with that lead pack. We will see some of these guys moving up and down just a little bit on the straightaways just to make sure they're getting enough air and keeping those engines cool. And Richie West looks like he's got a little bit of a blink going on there. That could be problematic. Coming through 3 and 4. This 2 wide pack back here, I think they're about to start losing some ground. Brian Oshinska on the bottom. Richie West, AJ Godsey, Scotty Too Hottie up on the top. Greg McDaniels hops to the top side. They might actually pick up some ground with 3 of them up there. And I can tell you from personal experience, having AJ push you, for some reason, he is one of the best guys to have pushing your car. Oh! I had to say something. Richie West, hard into the wall. Let's try and get a look at the right side of his car. He's definitely slow, got some damage to that car. Yeah, his right front, and this track is so aero dependent. We've got David Garman spinning off track. Let's see what happened to Garmy. Oh, a little bit of a push from behind. He manages to save it, though. That is that dirt track skill that saved Garman right there. And now we're starting to see a little bit of the chaos opening up. Harley Barletta still out front, still leading that front group around. They have not changed positions. Harley has not jumped back to get any to save any fuel, so he will be one of the first cars that needs a pit stop. He has led every lap so far. And you know he's going for every bonus point he can get here tonight, but this could make, if he doesn't have somebody go to pit road with him, it could be really problematic. In the last few Daytona races, we've seen green flag pit stops, so that could come into play tonight as well. As the pack is spreading out, we could see a lot more of that. 7 cars in the lead draft from Harley Barletta, Kellen Mitchner, Jason Rome, Thomas Myers, Bill Percy, Jared Heasley, and Mike Smith. The second pack of 5 cars is led by AJ Godsey with Scotty Too Hottie, Brian Oshinska, Greg McDaniel, and Brandon Springer holding on back there. Then a little further back, in 13th, Eric Stoy out there by himself, Jody Ogden and David Garman trying to get reconnected. Those 3 guys were together, but here comes a little bit of help from behind as Larry Ashby and Topher Baltimore now getting hooked back up. Richie West did come to pit road. He has gotten his repair and come back out on track. And here come the 34 and the 73. That is Larry Ashby and Topher Baltimore on the high side, just as Garman picks up Jody Ogden. Richie West coming back out on track as well. They'll pick up Eric Stoy in a lap, maybe even less, and now they'll have a 6-car draft. Once everybody gets hooked back up, we'll have to see, do they start closing in on Brandon Springer, who's up in 12th. Right now, the gap from Springer back to Eric Stoy, 10, almost 11 seconds. In the front pack, just staying single file as they have this whole time. Not seeing a lot of movement. See a couple of guys that jump up a little bit to get some clean air on the nose, cool the engine down a little bit, but they're also being very careful not to stay right on each other nose to tail. AJ Godsey's group, on the other hand, they are staying very tucked up close. You see Scott and Brian both jumping up a little bit on the front straightaway, getting some clean air on the nose. They're going to try and do everything they can to make it work here and gain that ground back up. They're currently 2.1 seconds back from that lead pack. AJ Godsey 8th, Scott is 9th, Brian is 10th, Greg 11th, and Brandon Springer is 12th. The group now led by Jody Ogden. It looks like Richie West did not manage to maintain the speed in the draft with these guys. So this is a 5-car draft with Jody Ogden at the front. You've got Garmy behind him, Larry Ashby in the 3rd position in that group, Topher Baltimore, and Eric Stoy. Now, Harley did say prior to this race that he was going to make this one a double hit. He was going to sweep both races tonight. He's going to win here in Cup. He's going to turn around and win the ARC race. I'm guessing James Harris is going to have something to say about that, but we'll have some extra special comments. As now Kellen really pushing Harley down the back straightaway. The ARCA race will be the one time I actually cheer a little bit for Harley, just because of another situation that came up today that'll be quite comical. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting race, and it'll be fun to watch the comparison between the cars as these guys take the Cup cars around. And the ARCA cars are the same model that NASCAR actually ran, kind of the twisted chassis generation, or twisted sister, if you will. That generation of stock cars from about 2001, that's the generation that you'll see in the ARCA race tonight, so that'll make for some interesting racing. As Thomas Myers looked to the high side and got the parachute up top, he actually lost ground. He had all the cars behind him go with him, and they still were losing ground. 4 cars slower than 3. Everybody spreads out on the front straightaway. And this second group is losing ground, but not by much. They've only lost a couple tenths of a second on the lead group right now. This group is now 11.5 seconds back, so they've neither gained nor lost any significant ground on the group in front of them. And pit strategy could become a huge, huge deal here. I can tell you that these guys, while they're all in Discords, a lot of these guys are in completely different Discords than the guys that they're running with. That can make things very interesting. Not having the radio chatter with the other guys, they're going to have to coordinate, and everybody's going to know their strategy. And kind of communicating that strategy out loud could be problematic. Harley Barletta continuing to lead. You see that second group and that gap. The third group that's 11.5 seconds back, not even in the picture at the moment. And I mentioned a lap ago that AJ Godsey and his group had lost a little bit of ground to the front group. They have regained that well, it's about 0.3 of a second, so now we're going to have to watch really closely. He's got Scotty 2 Hotty pushing him down the straightaways here. We'll see if Scott and AJ can work together and get back up to the group. They have actually closed down. They are right at a 2-second gap from Mike Smith, who is the tail end of that lead group right now. Gotta say, I'm looking forward to this season, seeing how the season unfolds, but also with so many painters in the group, looking forward to seeing how this how that number 10 car goes. We saw some awesome paint schemes out of him, some looked like carbon fiber paint body paneling last season that was very stacked and staggered. It looked awesome, and with this new air gas sponsorship, it'll be interesting to see what he does with that this season. Not sure what happened last lap. They lost some ground. They lost a lot of ground, over half of a second on that last lap. Meanwhile, this group behind has lost another half a second. They are now 12 seconds behind the lead group, and I can tell you exactly what's wrong now. Jody Ogden, that little bit of blinking. That blinking generally is problematic in on these super speedways, on any track really, because you don't know where the guy's going to reappear. But it's especially impactful on these super speedways, and the reason is if you're seeing them disappear, then so is your car, and you do not have the draft from that car in front of you. So when he blinks, that 5-car pack becomes a 4-car pack as far as the physics of the game are concerned. Harley Barletta still up in the lead. As we mentioned, he has not saved an ounce of fuel here. He has been flat, although he's probably had the easiest race thus far. Kellen, obviously a very patient driver and not going to make any kind of move on the 81 right now. AJ Godsey leading that group, and do expect to see him win multiple races this season as he did last season. Harley Barletta, multi-race winner as well. Several of these guys, David Garman swept the road courses last season, so that could make things very, very interesting as well. And as the season goes on, we'll have the points, and you can check out BRR Motorsports on Facebook. We'll keep a lot of information posted there. The admins will keep the points based posted there as well. All right, folks, we're going to try out something new and different. So let me know what your thoughts are on this. But before they get to the pit stops, we're going to try, like the old days of NASCAR, we're going to try the Crank It Up feature. All right, we had to cut that a little bit short. We might try it again later, as we've got green flag pit stops are underway and a large portion of the field has gone in. Garmin's in, Eric Stoy is in, Larry Ashby is in, Jody Ogden and Fat Thor are all in. Harley Barletta, Jason Rome, and Kellen Mitchner have been to pit road and are coming back up off pit road. Now you've got AJ Godsey, Greg McDaniel, Scotty Too Hotty, Brian Oshinska, and Brandon Springer on pit road. The only 4 cars that have not made the move to pit road are these 4 in the lead right now. Thomas Myers, Bill Percy, Jared Heasley, and Mike Smith. Do expect to see them this time. If not this time, it will be next time. But no issues on pit road so far. Although it looks like Nicole Kriesel might have had an issue. Try and find out what happened with Nicole as the final cars are coming to pit road. Greg McDaniel coming off pit road. Harley Barletta, Kellen Mitchner, and Jason Rome still together as a lot of cars coming up on track. And this is where we expect to see a little bit of chaos. You got guys merging up off the straightaway, or coming down the straightaway at full chat, and you've got guys coming up off pit road slow. There is AJ Godsey trying to hop back in with this lead pack. Harley Barletta seems to be having a little bit, it looks like he might have laid back a little bit to catch AJ. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off. Looking through, I cannot tell what happened to Nicole Kriesel. I can tell you, though, every one of these drivers out here on track wants to see her get her first win this season. Looks like Nicole is out there. There she is at the front of that pack, and now, even though they've all been to pit road, different groups, different strategies, Greg McDaniel now to the lead. First lead of the season, and the majority of the cars are within 10 seconds of each other right now. Richie West, Jody Ogden, Nicole Kriesel, one or more laps down each. Actually, Richie West is now, due to his position on track, being scored the first car 1 lap down. He is in the lucky dog position, and it looks like Harley and AJ worked really well together there as they kept AJ in this lead pack. A very smart move having AJ in your lead pack. All right, so now we've got everybody back out on track. Let's run through the field. All right, out front is Kellen Mitchner, followed by Jason Rome, AJ Godsey right there. Harley Barletta currently scored in 4th. Greg McDaniel in 5th. Thomas Myers in 6th place, 2.7 seconds back with Jared Heasley. And it is worth noting that, yes, before this season is out, we will be talking to Ricky Bobby. Mike Smith currently running in 8th place, trying to get back with a group. He's got Scotty Too Hottie and Bill Percy closing in, so he'll get hooked up. Bill Percy will, actually very interesting, we'll have videos in the near future, I'd suspect, of Bill Percy testing his real-life race car, and expect to hear more about him going racing in the real world before too much longer. Looks like Mike Smith is going to get hooked into that group. Now, back behind him, Brandon Springer all alone. 3 seconds to Mike Smith, but Brian Oshinska is about 2 seconds behind. Eric Stoy leading a 2-car group with David Garman. Larry Ashby all alone. Oh, Larry. Larry Ashby is all alone out there for the moment. And, of course, Topher Baltimore. Richie West in that pack, in that lead pack at the moment. Jody Ogden appears to be out by himself for the moment. And Nicole Kriesel hanging onto the back of that lead pack, multiple laps down. Bit of a heartbreak because this is where Nicole Kriesel really shines. Harley Barletta just had an incident. Oh! A little bit of bump and run down the front straightaway. Everybody gets it squared away. Amazing save by Harley Barletta. He's going to lose a little bit of ground there, but his car is still going to be in one piece. It looks like Harley got hooked. Looks like Harley might be able to get hooked back up with Jared Heasley and Thomas Myers. And if so, he is still in contention. And remember, they'll still have to make one more stop here. So that definitely hurt, but he's not out of this thing yet. All right, now that green flag pit stops are completed, let's try the crank it up one more time. Tell me, do you guys like it or not? All right, little bit of fun there, something new we'll be trying out this season. Let us know what you think. If you like it enough, we will make a graphic and do a whole bunch of fancy stuff with it as the season goes on. Always trying something new during the broadcast here, so make sure you check them out every night, like later tonight with the Fast and Fun ARCA series, like tomorrow night with the Outlaw Dirt doubleheader, like Tuesday night where XCal Street Stocks, I believe, are at Bristol this week. I have to look at my notes here in a minute, but I believe they're at Bristol this week. Can you imagine 40 plus street stocks at Bristol? That's going to be fun. Wednesday night, we'll have the Outlaw Cup series followed by their limited late model series, and that'll be a makeup race. The rest of the week, they are completing their season, but this will be week number 9 for those two series, so something different. And then Thursday night, the first of 3 races for the John Paul Jr. Huntington's Disease Foundation. And get a team together. It's a $100 entry fee for a 6-man team. And the winning team will win. All 6 members of the winning team will get a button box made by Crazy Vet Fam. Second place will get eye flags made by a guy in the field right now who's kind of nuts. And third place will also be the third place team will get t-shirts made by Crazy Vet Fam. So definitely check that out. And we have spots for 7 or 8 teams left. These teams will have 6-person teams over 3 races, 4 drivers from each team on the track. And you know, you'll have a ringer in there, and so you can swap your drivers out. Definitely beneficial to have a few extras just in case. And hey, a great opportunity to help a great charity and help raise some money for a great charity and possibly win a button box for your entire team. All you have to do is go to the Facebook page and shoot me a message, and we'll get you squared away, get you into the race, and there you have it. Then another big event coming in November. You've seen a few posts about it. You'll see a lot more over the next couple of months as XCal puts on. Everybody's invited to the massive Whale PD event. And trust me, that one's going to be epic. It'll be the street stocks again at Michigan. Except in that configuration, it's about like driving this, except those street stocks are smaller. And you can go 5 wide at Michigan. 6 wide. Although 6 wide doesn't work out. 5 wide, you can usually make it safely for a lap or so. So a lot of great events. Make sure you're following us on Facebook. And if you've got a team or you want to join in any of these events, hit us up. We will be glad to get you hooked up as well. All right, just past halfway, Kellen Mitchner in the lead. Jason Rome is in second. Third place is AJ Godsey, Greg McDaniel fourth. Thomas Myers is in fifth, about 6 seconds behind the lead pack. He's got Jared Heasley in seventh with him. Eighth place, Bill Percy leading a 4-car pack with Mike Smith, Harley Barletta, Scotty Too Hottie, and I have to look and see. I'm not sure that we had a lap car in there as well. Nope, that's it. Brandon Springer currently running in 11th place. He has Brian Oshinska with him. Eric Stoy currently running in 13th, has Garney with him. Larry Ashby right at the front. The lead pack is catching him. And this is good news for Thor, as it puts him, if he gets past and gets Larry behind him, that'll put him in the lucky dog position. Jody Ogden currently in 17th. Richie West on pit road. It looks like, I don't know what happened to Richie. He had the incident early and currently off track. Nicole, that's what she said. Creasel is helping out Thomas and Jared. All right, looks like Jody Ogden gets lapped again. That's going to put him 2 laps down now, but he hangs on to the back of the lead pack, hoping for a miracle. 30 laps left here, and not, I'm afraid to say this out loud, so one of those things that usually happens at Daytona has not happened yet. How's that? Thor got hooked on to the back of this group. He's got Jody Ogden with him. Both of them trying to get laps back and get back. I think when they got together, I'm guessing that Topher said, hey, let's get help. Meanwhile, Harley Barletta, we saw him have that off track. Everybody saved it. How they did not wreck was truly impressive. Everybody manages to save it, keep it going the right way. But Harley Barletta now, after leading the first third of this race, the first 25 laps, he is now back in ninth. His pack, led by Bill Percy, they are over 10 seconds behind the lead pack. They need a caution to have any chance at this, and it looked like we've had a few close calls, especially during the cycle of pit stops. We'll be within the pit window in 8 laps, and then it becomes a question of when does everybody go. Actually, we'll be within the window in 2 laps, but everybody will be able to go the distance from lap 45. They can go 25, 26. A few of these guys who have stayed in the draft, they will be able to go 26, maybe 27 laps, but they are not going to push it. You do not want to run out of gas at Daytona. I can promise you Kellen Mitchner is coming in at lap 50, if not sooner. He is not going to push it one bit. Jason Rome in second, AJ Godsey in third. Great to see Jason up in the top 3 and has stayed up there all night. He has been a presence at the front for the entirety of this race. Saw Jason battling for the points last season, but did not make the playoffs in the end, and definitely looking forward to seeing if he can get up there and get the championship win here this season. Thomas Myers and crew, that 3-car pack right behind, led by Nicole Kriesel. They are 2.5 seconds in front of Jared Heasley, in front of Bill Percy, Mike Smith, Harley Barletta, and Scotty Tuhati, and that gap is closing. 4 cars just a little bit faster than 3. They got Larry Ashby back there trying to hang on to this pack, stay in the draft. If they get all 5 of them connected, they could make their way up to that second group. Thomas Myers, Jared Heasley alone there with Nicole Kriesel, just trying to stay consistent and keep gaining a little bit of ground. They are currently 8 seconds back from the lead pack right now. And you heard Jared Heasley say earlier, in that Go Bowling car, there's Greg McDaniel, a perennial favorite. He is the guy that we expect to see battling for this championship. He battled for the truck championship last season and was in the thick of the battle down to the last race. Expect to see that again here, and I would not be surprised to see Greg come out on top with the Cup Series championship this season at all. He had a rough start to his first Truck Series in BRR. It'll be interesting to see if he gets away cleanly this time. Bill Purcey's group still trying to run him down. They have closed that gap to Jared Heasley and Thomas Myers down to 1.5 seconds. They are within sight of them now. Larry Ashby does maintain the draft. He is hooked on. Now 24 laps to go. Everybody is within the fuel window. Expect to see a variety of strategies for pit stops here. And I do expect to see fuel only on this stop. If anybody wanted tires, they took them on that first stop. The only way guys are going to get tires on this stop is if it is under caution. We'll see if Kellen Mitchner brings his group down this time. He's hugging that yellow line off 4, but nope, does not look low. Nobody in that group goes to pit road. The gap continues to close. Bill Purcey now within 1 second. This group's about to get a lot bigger. Remember, that lead group is currently only about 6 cars. Once these two groups get connected, that's going to be about 8 cars. If they stay single file long enough, they will be able to gain a little bit of ground on that lead pack. The question becomes, do they have enough time, and do the pit stops work in their favor tonight? Good to see Kellen Mitchner out front again. It's been a while, and it's awesome to have him back in the group. And congratulations to Kellen's entire family and his boys, both winning baseball championships over the summer. So congratulations to that whole family. Bill Purcey's group is now hooked up, and looks like Mike Smith had to get evasive. He was closing on Purcey very quickly. Had to duck down low, catch a little bit of air, slow himself down. Harley Barletta in this group as well. The car that led the first part, and the leaders are on pit road. Here comes Kellen, Jason, AJ, and Greg all to pit road. Now, does this second pack come? Nobody comes. And remember, they have the bigger pack. They have the opportunity to make up some ground here. And if they get their pit stops in right, the second pack has come down too. Brandon Springer, Brian Oshinska, Eric Stoy, David Garman, all on pit road. Now, how long do these guys stretch their fuel? They could go a couple more laps, especially with Nicole leading and her being a couple of laps down. That gives the advantage to all these lead lap cars behind her. Nicole's coming to pit road alone. Thomas Myers, Jared Heasley stay out. Scotty Too Hottie, Harley Barletta come to pit road. They've got Larry Ashby and Nicole with them. Topher Baltimore is also on pit road. Meanwhile, this lead pack is staying out. Thomas Myers, Jared Heasley, Bill Purcey, Mike Smith now out there alone, trying to stretch the mileage as far as they can. Kellen Mitchner and his group are back up off pit road, but they are only 3 cars now. It's Kellen, Greg, and AJ. They are 2.5 seconds ahead of Jason Rome. Looks like Jason had some struggles on pit road, lost a little bit of time there. A lot of other guys coming off pit road now, and the lead pack stays out one more time. Kellen, Greg, and AJ should be in the lead once pit stops cycle through, as more guys are coming up off pit road. And it looks like once Topher comes off pit road, Topher, the last one to come up off pit road, everybody has completed their final. I stand corrected. Bill Purcey and Mike Smith have not, and here they come. These will be the last 4 on pit road. Thomas Myers, Jared Heasley, Mike Smith, Bill Percy, all on pit road as Kellen Mitchner leads his group around with Greg McDaniel and AJ Godsey down the back straightaway. If these guys stayed out long enough, can they do this and do a quick splash of gas? Can they get back up off pit road quickly enough to stay in contact with this lead group? They are rolling up off pit road as the lead pack comes by. Kellen Mitchner, Greg McDaniel, AJ Godsey, all in the lead again. Thomas Myers, Jason Rome, Bill Percy coming up off pit road. Scotty Too Hotty coming by at full chat. Harley Barletta back out there as well in 8th. Here comes Eric Stoy now to 9th. David Garman, after an early incident falling off the back of the field, he is now up to 10th. $18 laps to go, 17 to go at the line as Kellen Mitchner takes it. That 3-car pack has a 6-second lead over Jason Rome, who's now got Jody Ogden with him. Thomas Myers is alone, 5 seconds back, almost 6 seconds back from Jason Rome and Jody Ogden. Scotty Too Hotty, 2.5 seconds back. Bill Percy and Harley Barletta connected again. They are 2 seconds back from Scott. We'll start seeing these guys pick up in little groups as here comes Larry Ashby, Brandon Springer, Topher Baltimore, Brian Oshinska. As these guys get reconnected, they'll help those lead lap cars up there. And this is what Harley Barletta needs right now. And Bill Percy, this is what they need to get up to the front. They need this big pack with AJ Godsey, Kellen, and Greg in a 3-car pack. They are going to have to stay nose to tail, bump draft every opportunity they have, and try and keep that speed higher than these packs behind them. Jason Rome, Jody Ogden together. I don't think they have enough time. 16 laps to go. I don't think this group has enough time to run anybody down. They'll catch Thomas Myers. They'll probably catch Jason Rome. They probably will not have time to catch Kellen Mitchner, AJ Godsey, and Greg McDaniel. Mike Smith had just now coming up off of pit road. And he ended up all alone out there for the moment after I'm guessing he got a speeding penalty on pit road. He had an extended time on pit road. After being up in the front pack the whole night, he is now in 12th. Thomas Myers right there with him. Thomas currently in 5th place. Meanwhile, this 3-car pack continues to lead and continues to open up the gap on Jason Rome. Jason there with Jody Ogden. Jody is a couple of laps down now. Thomas Myers right behind Mike Smith, and Scotty Too Hotty jumping to the high side for a moment. Looked like he had a run. Nobody went with him, or he might have just been jumping up to cool off a little bit. Now everybody slides up a little bit off of turn 4. Harley Barletta just lurking at the back of this pack. He just wants them to stay in line, get back up there. He wants one more shot at the win, but Kellen Mitchner has led his 3-car pack to a huge lead here. 13 laps to go and almost 10, right at 10-second lead over fourth place Jason Rome. All right, it looks like some of the guys that we expected to get into this group and help them work towards the front lost a little bit of the pack. So this is down to a 5-car pack right now. Here is an even bigger pack, though. This is a mix of lead lap cars and lap down cars. You got Brian Oshinska up there leading the high side. Brandon Springer on the bottom in the Duff car. Eric Stoy right behind Brian. Nicole, that's what she said. Creasel is back there. Larry Ashby in that group as well, as is Thor. And Garmy in that group as well. Garmy currently being scored in 10th. And looks like some of these guys are really starting to struggle. We talked about the new tire model a little bit ago. A lot more movement on the straightaway, especially as the tires wear. That could come into play both here and when we get into the ARCA cars. Ten laps to go for this lead pack. And now the question becomes, the real question here is, who does AJ Godsey go with if Greg tries to make a move on the high side? Or will Kellen slip enough to let Greg get the nose underneath here? Or because Greg's driving a Ford, will the engine blow up? Jason Rome still out there with Jody Ogden, still over 10 seconds behind that 3-car lead pack. Thomas Myers, however, 6 seconds back with his 5-car pack, and they are gaining quickly. Now 5.9. 5.8. That tells you how quickly they are gaining on that lead, or that second group, that 2-car pack with Jason Rome in it. And David Garman's group, led by Brian Oshinska. Brian currently in 13th place. He's leading that group around, getting a lot of help from Eric Stoy there down the front straightaway. They are trying to get hooked up and gain as much ground as is possible with 9 laps to go. Could they catch up to the pack in front of them? Jared Heasley up alone on the high side as the leaders come by. I think Jared must have lost another group, and he's currently scored in 11th. Now he's going to go a lap down with 8 laps to go. Looking to see, I do not see any damage on the 32 car. It looks like he lost the group that he was working with. And it looks like some of these bigger groups have started to spread out a little bit. Losing a driver here and there really starting to impact some of these groups' chances. Jared Heasley trying to stay with that lead pack. Jason Rome now 12 seconds back from the lead pack, but the group behind him has been closing quite a bit. They are now under 4 seconds with 7 laps to go. Jason Rome might have thought he had 4th place wrapped up here, but this group, it still has something to say about it. Thomas Myers currently in 5th, Scotty Tuhati in 6th, Bill Percy 7th, Harley Barletta 8th. And the group behind Eric Stoy in 9th and Garmy in 10th. Looks like Jared Heasley might just barely be holding on to the draft here. We have not taken a lap in car with anybody yet tonight. Let's hop in the seat with Harley Barletta as he is inches off the back bumper of Bill Percy coming down the back straightaway. Off into turn 3, you see in the on the straightaway, these cars are moving all over the place. A little bit more planted, under control in the turns, but still at these speeds over 200 miles an hour at some points, the car is never fully settled in. Back off into turn number 1. Harley Barletta gives a little bit of a gap there. 5 laps to go, and you see Harley Barletta looks like he is practicing getting that run so he can pick up some spots right at the end of the race. Kellen Mitchner, Greg McDaniel, AJ Godsey, all way out front. Jared Heasley, has gotten connected to this group. And they have picked up a little bit of momentum. 13 seconds now over 4th place Jason Rome. And there you see the gap from Thomas Myers to Jason Rome and Jody Ogden is just 1.5 seconds. As they go off into turn 1, 4 laps to go. Mike Smith leading this group around. Mike currently running in 12th place. Little bit of squirreliness in the middle of that pack. Mike Smith has the car planted, trying to close that gap down. Now 1.2 seconds. When they get within about a second, or about 3/4 of a second, they will pick up the draft and catch up to Jason Rome and Jody Ogden very quickly. Even quicker than they have been so far, but it is too late in the race and they are too far behind to catch up to the lead pack. So this will become the battle for 4th place. Up front will be a 3-car battle for the win. And now the real question, AJ Godsey already starting to look for moves here. He came around Greg McDaniel. Looks like Jared Heasley might be giving him a little bit of help there. 2 laps to go for Kellen Mitchner, and now he is mirror driving that car around this track, trying to make anything he can happen. And don't forget, folks, immediately after this race, after we finish post-race interviews, we're going to go interview some guys as they hop into their ARCA cars. They'll put the Cup cars up, unload the ARCA cars, and go at it again here at Daytona. Kellen Mitchner continues to hold off AJ Godsey, but I would not want to be, as they get the white flag, I would not want to be in Kellen Mitchner's shoes right here. Who's going to make the move here? Meanwhile, the pack back behind, Jason Rome, Jody Ogden holding that bottom line, making the other group come to the high side to get around them. They have enough cars, they have the momentum, they will get around. How much blocking does Jason do here? Down the back straightaway, Nicole Creasel comes into play. AJ Godsey jumped to the high side. Greg McDaniel went with him. AJ drops to the bottom. Nicole moves up high. Kellen's going to go try and make it 3 wide. A little bobble. Everybody holding on for all they got. Kellen up the side. Greg McDaniel looks to the bottom. It's going to be a photo finish at the line. It is. Kellen Mitchner pulls off the win. Back behind him, coming out of turn 4, Jason Rome, still holding on to 4th place. He's got it. He's got help from Jody Ogden. Harley Barletta makes his way back up to 5th, and Kellen Mitchner pulling off the win here. AJ Godsey finishes second. Greg McDaniel third, Jason Rome fourth, Harley Barletta is fifth. And don't forget, after we talk to a few of these drivers, we're going to do it all again, except in an ARCA car. Less planted, less downforce, more excitement. Hey, Kellen, this is Doug. You got me?
Hey, Doug.
Hey, buddy. First off, man, welcome back, and what a return you made tonight.
Yeah, it's good to get a win in, especially right off the bat in the season. So a pretty boring race. Just keep it flat on the mat. I actually just ran out of gas, so I can't even do a burnout.
I kind of wondered about that because you guys came in a little bit early on that last stop, and you leading all the laps was going to come into play, but you managed to make it to the end.
Yeah, just barely. AJ made a heck of a charge there at the end. I thought he had me, and kind of used that lap car to get back past him. So.
Well, it was an
Glad
awesome.
we got some action in.
Yes, you definitely did. It was an awesome move for the win there at the end, buddy.
All right. Yeah, thanks.
All right, Kellen Mitchell. Let's see if we can talk to AJ real quick. Hey, AJ, it's Doug. You got me?
I got you.
Hey, man, that was a close one.
That was a fun race there. I guess the last half lap got interesting, but other than that, it was just pretty much stay in line and ride.
Well, the first time I think BRR's ever gone green to checkers here, so that's got to be an awesome feeling. But that last lap you got past Kellen, looked like you were going to pull off the win. Did you think you had it coming out of 4?
After I got by Greg there for second, I realized I could make just enough run off second if I side draft him to clear him. So I thought once I had him clear, I might have it, but we had that lap car right there too. So I don't know if that had something to play with it. I got a little loose coming off of 4.
Well, you managed to keep it going the right way. You start the season with a second place finish, nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, we'll definitely take it. It was a good race.
All right, man. Congrats.
Thanks, Doug.
All right, we're going to talk to third place Greg McDaniel. Hey, Greg, this is Doug. You got me?
Yeah, go ahead, Doug.
Hey, buddy. Congratulations on a well-earned third place. And, I got to say, you came through this race completely unscathed.
Yeah, there were a couple close calls. I swerved and missed something, but everybody pretty much should have been unscathed. There were no caution flags.
Well, usually early in the season, at least your last truck season, started off a little bit rough. Some dude kept wrecking into you, and it was just terrible.
Yeah, he's not here, so I didn't have that problem today.
Well, man, definitely the way you wanted to start a season. When I asked Jared Heasley prior to the race who to watch for this championship, he said you were one to watch closely. You were in the battle all season in the trucks. Definitely looking forward to seeing how your season goes, man.
Well, thanks. That's nice of Jared to say. I think at a track like this, I can hang with everybody, but I don't know. There's a lot of guys in this series that I'm going to have a hard time keeping up with on the shorter tracks. So we'll see how it goes, though. It should be fun.
All right, man. Well, congratulations. A great way to start the season, buddy.
Thanks, Doug. We'll be talking to you, hopefully.
I'm sure. All right. And let's see. Now, we will have Harley Barletta, Jared Heasley, AJ Gonsi, and several others hopping in the cars. They are putting up the Cup cars right now. They're unloading the ARCA cars and getting ready to go at it again on the 2.5 mile high-speed Daytona. And I do not expect this one to go to the green to checkers with no caution. You never know, they could surprise me, but we definitely have some other comments to discuss once we get into that and talk to a few drivers and have a little bit of fun here. I do want to get a word with Harley Barletta really quick, if he has not already. It looks like Harley Barletta has already left us and is going to get set up and unload his ARCA car. So we'll talk to him in a few moments. Stick around, don't go anywhere, because Fast and Fun ARCA series starts now.